Welcome to Pegwarmers. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Tony from Hack the Movies and Castzilla versus the Pod Monster.
And we're here to talk about Godzilla toys.
Specifically, Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019, I think?
Yeah, I love when they reuse names and then you have to put the year afterwards.
Yeah, that is annoying. Because the one before this was Godzilla 2014.
Right.
Not to be confused with Godzilla 1998. Or Godzilla King of the Monsters 1954, which is actually Gojira.
It gets hard, I guess, when you have a brand where the key character is the name of the series.
I will say, with this movie, the title makes more sense than the original Americanized, where they just slap King of the Monsters. Like, well, there's just one, so it's not really that impressive. This movie's got to kind of prove that he's the King of the Monsters.
Yes, it makes more sense. It's just the other one is, like, so iconic.
Yeah. But, yeah, you came over here to shoot more episodes.
And we had to do one on the fly.
Yes, we have a delay. There was a delay. Someone is delayed. And I was like, well, we got time. And I'm like, what other toy lines do I have? And I remembered, through a bunch of coincidences, I have a lot of the Godzilla King of the Monsters toy line.
So we're talking about Godzilla today.
Yes.
We have a lot of Jack-specific items here. Some of these may be by other manufacturers, too, because there's a bunch of different styles of figures here.
Yeah.
So if we say the wrong brand or whatever, we apologize. But what specifically, where do we want to start? You've got a lot of different versions of the same monsters here.
Let's start with the Jack specific, because
Okay.
I remember seeing these in stores.
Yes.
When the movie came out.
I remember seeing them as well.
And it's funny, because before we rolled, you thought this was Lantern.
Yeah, I was thinking they were Lantern, the people that make the, like, Walmart Aliens toy line.
And I can see why you think that, because the Jack-specific ones are really, really detailed when it comes to the sculpting, and then the coloring, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, Ghidorah's gold. Just make it all gold.
All gold.
So yeah, I didn't think they looked that impressive.
They're fun for kids, though. Like, they have a little diorama background. They have these smash and crash little city scenes. I mean, that's good stuff for kids.
Yeah, so there were 3 little diorama sets. Johanna took the one. So I think I might have already talked about this on the show. What did I do? I went on Facebook Marketplace to order some Godzillas, and some guy gave me his entire Godzilla collection. So I ended up with a lot of this stuff.
And did you find this man in a moment of crisis?
I don't know.
I have to move. Here, take my stuff.
I got this for way cheaper than it should have been. I felt pretty bad. But yeah, Johanna took the Mothra set. So I have the King Ghidorah with the glowing Godzilla set.
Ooh, yes. He's got his spikes aglow.
Yes. And then I have regular Godzilla with the Rodan. She has the Mothra. But yeah, it's interesting.
What did the Godzilla that came with Mothra look like?
Oh, he was red.
Oh,
but not like the lava. He just had red dorsal fins.
Oh.
So I guess that was their version of him going nuclear.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's interesting that Jack Specific also made larger figures of them. You have the Rodan over there.
Yeah, let me lay him down. All right, there's Rodan.
And they're built like exactly the same, just larger.
So they probably used one digital sculpt.
Yes.
And then tooled it up in different sizes, which is probably smart financially for them to make a low budget.
And they have the same feature. If you notice, the little King Ghidorah and the bigger one both can remove their right head.
Oh, really?
The head comes off, because that's what happened in the movie. He bit off the head and then it grew back.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, there's been a couple times before I put them in a glass. Yeah, before I put them in a glass cabinet, those heads were like falling off constantly. But yeah, I thought those were cool. Like I said, I mostly got the set for these bigger Godzillas. And he gave me the Jack specific stuff also. And I mean, they're fun for kids, but they're not as cool as you would like. If
the articulation points, like it's just one big flat mid-wing, not even like in the back where you would actually, or at the shoulder where they would actually flap.
Yeah.
It's kind of mid-wing. There's not a lot of detail. Like they have, this guy has a nice like wash. So he's red plastic with a black paint wash, but no other real details picked out.
Yeah, Rodan definitely looks the best out of these. But you're right, King Ghidorah doesn't have any black detail in him.
It's just pretty budget, you know.
They look, I will say, they look a lot better than the Godzilla versus Kong figures. I remember me and Johanna did those like hard plastic. Barely, and you can just see the obvious screws in them.
Right.
Like those are weak.
Those ones I think might have been Lanard, and maybe that's where I was getting it from. The sculpt work is decent.
Yeah, the sculpt
It's
work's
just
really, really good.
not
I could see.
Not
and
a lot of deco.
I'm sure a lot of people have done it. I'm sure someone has custom painted these.
Oh, I'm sure.
To look way cooler. But yes, he threw in 2 NECA figures.
Okay.
Now, I already had he gave me NECA Rodan, whose wing was broken, which was very annoying. I had to glue it shut because it was constantly like slapping about. I do like the base is the volcano
that
he
cool
comes
looking.
out of. Johanna took the Mothra.
This is like a reoccurring
It's
theme
a reoccurring thing. She takes the Mothras.
Right.
But that one was really cool. Even though I'm not super into Mothra's design in that movie, the wingspan was awesome. It's got like, because she had like 4 wings technically in that movie. She had like the upper and the lower wings. Really, really super detailed. And then he threw in these like statues, these plastic statues, which were made by Bandai.
Okay.
Which does a lot of Godzilla. I think
they do a lot of the Japanese stuff.
The next ones we're going to see are also Bandai. Now, I'm not sure how many of these they made.
Okay.
But I have the King Ghidorah one here. And again, it's like I like the base is like the destroyed Boston. That's where the final fight was.
Now that one's got even more like crisp detail, like lots of little spikes that are sticking up. Like there's finer detail, but sort of warped to proportions. He's like a little
bit. You know what? Not as much as the next one I'm about to pull. But yeah, they made the heads a little bit bigger. But then you have Godzilla here. I have the Meltdown Godzilla, and I want to say like 40% of his body is just his head.
Yeah.
That was awesome when he went nuclear in that movie. That was pretty cool. Which was like a reference to the Destroyer, where he's melting down. Only this time it's like a good thing, not he's dying. So I thought these statues were awesome.
Yeah, they're cool. I like them.
Yeah, and then Bandai made these like PVC figures.
These are very much like the Japanese vinyl that you would have seen, in the 80s and before.
Yeah, PVC or vinyl. I forget which.
I think these guys are vinyl. They have that little bit of flex to them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're Bandai. Yeah, the King Ghidorah one is awesome.
It looks great.
Awesome. Again, I would like a little bit more black paint in it. But I just thought, because I like this movie, King of the Monsters 2019. They could have done some stuff better. Like, I didn't mind that King Ghidorah was affecting the environment around him, but it kept obscuring the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, can he be in the eye of the storm so we can actually kind of see better? But the design of Ghidorah, I think this is how I always pictured him in my head. Okay. When I would watch like the old movies, I'm like, I want him to look more like this.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I thought it was like a beautiful design. That's why I was like, I got to get some Ghidorah stuff from this. Like, it feels weird that I don't, because he's my favorite of the Godzilla enemies.
I like his posture too. Like, he's not straight up.
Yeah.
But he's also not like flopping all the way. Like, it's a really nice.
Yeah. And I love that he has actual bat-like wings.
Yeah, that looks cool too.
Because before they used to, again, it made sense for the old series.
Right.
When they started updating stuff, they kind of stuck with that design. It's like, no, let's update it a little bit. Let's give them some articulation. But yeah, the King of the Monsters 2019 King Ghidorah is like how I always pictured him.
It is interesting that they didn't chop off the center head, because if they did continue down this path and do the Mecha King Ghidorah at some point, the head would be on one side, which is less aesthetically pleasing.
They worked in that idea a little bit to where Mecha Godzilla is Ghidorah.
Okay.
Right, if you saw Godzilla.
Yeah.
Because they kind of like marry those ideas, but like obviously they didn't do Robot Head.
Right.
But they're like, hey, Ghidorah, his brain is sending signals to Mecha, so now he's in Mecha God. I thought if there was some kind of DNA in there, because they said he had a piece of brain in Mecha Godzilla.
Right, okay.
Because they communicate. I thought it was going to be cool, like the end of that fight, like the grain starts reproducing, and then like the Godzilla. That would have been cool. That might have been a little too much. I understand. They were like, all right, we're doing a lot in this movie. Like it's already pushing it that we're doing Mecha Godzilla. We can't add Mecha King Ghidorah on top of that.
Right.
But yeah, the PVC figure looks really cool. I like the Mothra one is the most colored of all of them.
Yeah.
You kind of have to color Mothra.
You do. You can't cheap out on the deco there. Very tiny, very petite looking.
Although there is a NECA variant of the NECA Mothra that's just all blue.
Oh, okay.
All blue and glowing. Yeah, the Mothra, I thought it was cool. I guess because I'm so used to her having a big head and tiny arms. The new reboot, she has long arms and a tiny head.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more accurate moth shape there than...
Yeah. Yeah, I just wish the head. Honestly, if the head was a little bit bigger, I think I'd be more on board with the design. It's not a bad design. I'm just like, I'm just used to her having a big, dumb, bulby head.
Yeah.
The Rodan one's not the best. You have the Rodan one.
The Rodan one here, he's a little basic.
That looks like literally they just colored like an old Rodan figure.
He's definitely in that classic, like, perched on the building stance that you think of with the original Rodan.
Yeah, but I like the detail because in that one he like had fire coming out of his wings.
I like the paint fade there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Definitely reminds me of Fire Rodan from the the more modern Godzilla films.
Yeah. And then lastly, I have these little statues. I don't know if it says underneath where they're from. It might be underneath the base, maybe. So they were selling these statues of these tiny Godzillas and Mothras, but with giant heads.
Yeah, they're very super deformed. I don't see any brand information on the bottom.
I would have to look up that. But see, in that version, Mothra's head is gigantic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's what she should look like.
More traditional Mothra here.
Yeah. It's funny. They gave me 3, larva Mothras. I only have 2 there because the one is just a repeat. But it's funny because I'm like, there's only 1 larva Mothra in there, and it was barely in the movie. It was just in that opening scene.
It's fun to have 2 though, because the original Godzilla vs. Mothra.
But yeah, there's 2 Godzilla variants. He's in the same position in each, but one is without the charging up dorsal fins. The other one is him about to shoot his atomic breath. And again, that King Ghidorah looks awesome. For some reason, the big head, the proportions in this, even though they're awkward, they kind of work for me. I'm like, okay, they're kind of fun.
Yeah, it's silly. It's kind of fun. Giant heads.
But yeah, so those I actually bought. The vinyl and the big head ones I actually bought. Everything else I got from that guy.
Okay. Like a marketplace score.
Yeah, my marketplace score of the set. Because I also got like a Lantern Queen alien out of that.
Okay.
I got like a Jurassic World thing that I gave away. I got so much out of that. And it was literally just $60 for the entire box.
Nice.
The guy just wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people just have to unload things.
Yes.
They're tripping over stuff.
Yes, I did donate a bunch of stuff to Crypt Video Rentals. I don't know when this comes out. It probably already came out. But if you were at Crypt Video Rentals and you won a raffle of a bunch of stuff, it probably came from me. You're welcome. But yeah, that's it.
So before we jump out of this video, though,
Yeah.
Tony, what was the first Godzilla movie you ever saw? Do you remember?
Ooh. You know, I can't remember the first one I saw.
Okay.
I remember the first one I rented.
Okay.
That was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
All right.
Yes, that was the first one I remember going to the store and renting. But it was one of those, like, you would always catch them on awkwardly random times.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of the 90s toys.
Okay.
I had a bunch of the Treadmasters. I had the old Mothra. Eventually her wing broke. That would make sounds.
Yeah.
That was cool. I think I told you before, my friend gave me his Mecha King Ghidorah. It's off camera right now. So yeah, I grew up with Godzilla toys. I would watch the movies whenever I could. Yeah, and it led to this wonderful podcast called Castzilla versus the Pod Monster, which is back, Kevin.
Excellent.
And I brought it back as a live show for some reason.
Because that makes it easier to produce.
It makes it so much easier to produce. Yeah, we went on a very long hiatus.
That happens with shows. I mean, it's not your primary show, so
yes,
you understand when things like that have to slip. But it's fun.
But yeah, me and Johanna, we've been wanting to figure out a way to bring it back, and I'm like, well, I've been testing out this live format on Hack the Movies. Let's bring it back as a live format, which I thought would be fun. Because now we have like slides. Where
that's a good idea.
I prepare the slides ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because originally the video version, it was just a simple animation with the poster in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, we're back as a live thing. I can prepare my slides. We can go through the pictures. But yeah, there's so much. I thought Godzilla was going to slow down, Kevin.
They just keep coming.
After Godzilla vs. Kong, I knew Japan wanted to make a movie. And I'm like, all right, but you know, everything's going to slow down. But I guess they renegotiated their deal with Legendary. So there's a live action Godzilla TV show coming out.
It's insane.
Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Now, you know what's interesting?
Do you think there'll be a lot of monsters in it? Or do you think it'll be like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they'll just the human side of the story with lots of reference to the fun stuff?
I don't think they'll be like big. I don't think Godzilla's going to show up in every episode. Let's just say that. I feel like they're going to save him for bigger ones.
Season finale.
I think they'll do a lot of their own original monsters.
That's true. They can do, smaller creatures that they discover.
Yeah, and by the way, because Kong Skull Island, there were like human-sized monsters. And I actually like the MonsterVerse monsters outside of the name brand ones. I actually like some of the designs they made. Like the Godzilla vs. Kong had those weird parrot bat looking things.
Yeah.
Those things were horrifying.
And the chicken walker
yeah,
things. Yeah.
That thing was weird looking. I'm like, okay, I kind of like... I don't think they all need to be giants. There will be.
It's really hard to do the human story against the monster unless you're doing a giant epic thing because you need the military to fight them.
Yeah.
And it never works anyway.
Yeah, but I feel like... So
but
this
small
one...
Small monsters work.
Yeah, this one I think is in between 2014. It's going to flash back to the 70s.
Okay.
So Kurt Russell is playing an older character, and Kurt Russell's son is playing the younger version of Kurt Russell's character.
Oh, that's perfect.
So yeah, I think they're going to flash back. I think he might be related to John Goodman's character from Kong Skull Island because he was in the trailer.
Yeah.
John Goodman's like doing a vlog or something.
Okay.
So yeah, one interesting thing, if you notice in between films, 2014 and King of the Monsters, Godzilla's dorsal fins change. Because in 2014, they're like sharp and like pointed. And then the next one, it's the classic kind of maple leaf looking thing.
Right.
The show that they're showing, it's the original design from 2014. So I'm like, oh, are they going to show like maybe he like evolved
that would be
in between film? Because they kind of just ignored it and like, it's whatever, it's dorsal fins. I noticed it because I actually liked the 2014, how it kind of did its own thing with the fins. And then 2019 kind of went back on that. But
they brought it back a little closer to the original Godzilla.
Yeah, but I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, they changed it, whatever.
Maybe they'll break them off and he regrows them and they're in a new shape.
Yeah, there could be something like that, or maybe there's some kind of evolution that he does.
Melt or something.
Yeah, or like he molt, like maybe he sheds or something.
That's kind of a fun, like little loophole to kind of fix.
Yeah,
in a story.
Not
like
that you have to, but it's just like
just to connect things. Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. Godzilla -1 is coming out.
Okay.
Japan's new Godzilla film. Have you seen anything from that?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god. He looks like the 90s Godzilla, but CGI.
I like the 90s Godzilla a lot.
He looks like the 90s Godzilla, but CGI. His dorsal fins for me are a little too big. Johanna likes them.
Okay.
I think they're doing the original idea. So the first Godzilla movie, the idea was his skin was burnt from the radiation. The sequels just ignored that. That's just how he looked. But that was the original. And in this new one, in the trailer, they show like him screaming with his skin coming off.
Okay.
And then later, and then in other parts of the trailer, you can see he's scarred. So I'm like, oh, I think they're doing the idea where he gets nuked and it burns him and radiates him.
Okay.
And that's why he's like, well, I got to kill the first human I see because I blame all of them. The cool thing about this movie, though, so it's in the 40s.
All right.
The idea now, it's like kind of like a remake like Shin Godzilla was. The idea is that Japan just got done World War II. They have no defense force or military.
Oh, jeez, okay.
And Godzilla shows up. It's like now we have nothing to combat this. So I'm like, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It's like if you're still recovering from something horrible and then Godzilla shows up, you're like, oh shit. But yeah, there's so many TV shows. Like there's a Kong Skull Island TV show.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, we got to bring the podcast back. There's so much more Godzilla stuff.
The fans demand it.
Fans demand it, and they're not
back, baby.
slowing down Godzilla. Godzilla's going to keep on going.
That's great.
Multiple franchises all operating at the same time.
That's the world we live in now. The multiverse of monsters exists.
Yes, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm fine with it. But yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Well, guys, hit the like button. Do me a favor, subscribe if you want to support the channel on Patreon. You can find more information on all the perks there. And thanks for hanging on the peg with us.
Bye.